What the hell, Rose? What do we see? Well, we saw a movement pattern emerge that may affect the goal. It's just lift the most weight possible. So what changed here? What was the factor that changed? There's maybe a few, but throw one out there. From set 1 to set 2 to set 3. Yeah, he's got heavier, right? That's the obvious one. That's a task constraint. So let's troubleshoot a little bit. As coaches, this is what we do, okay? We identify constraints, which we'll define here as a rate limiter. It's the linchpin, or there might be more than one linchpin in certain scenarios. But it's the key constraint that's delaying the motor skill acquisition process. It's the real boundary condition. So let's go to another rehab example. Let's say it's an athlete who's coming back from ACL reconstruction, and they have a 40% quad deficit on one side, meaning their surgical leg, when testing their quad strength, is 40% weaker than the other side. You think that's going to affect their ability to run, cut, jump? That's an individual constraint. That's a boundary condition. We could cue them till we're blue in the face. Put the brakes on, but they don't have that quality. We have to develop that constraint for them so they can build into that to provide them with more solutions. Okay, that's that example. In this example, one constraint is obvious. One was just load on the bar. Something was happening there. That's a boundary condition. So we're identifying rate limiters. All weekend, we're identifying rate limiters. As you're coaching back on Monday, what's the rate limiter here? Is it because they don't have the hamstring flexibility for the first pull? Or is it because they don't have the positional tolerance and strength and actually have no idea what you're even saying? Yes?
When you say rate limiter, we're talking about what limits the rate of technical proficiency or progression of a given task?
That. Okay. Ultimately, we're looking like end goal is the solution, that is the movement what we think is sustainable. And that's subjective, right? But as a coach, you're watching them like, this is what I think we can layer performance on. Like, this is good enough. And for the athlete, they're feeling comfortable with that as well. What is the factor that's limiting that? Now, you guys may look at somebody's lift and say, yeah, that's sustainable. We can layer performance on that. I think that's a viable option. Some of you might say, I want to clean that up a little bit. Neither of you are right or wrong. I think those are just the inherent individual subjectivity. But ultimately, it's what's limiting the end goal.